Two spiritualities, one church, Francis and Leo XIV. The Catholic Church, deeply rooted in its tradition, is today undergoing a time of transformation. A change reflected not only in visible reforms, but also in the spirituality of those who lead it. The last two pontiffs, Pope Francis and Pope Leo XIV, embody two very different yet profoundly authentic spiritual paths, the Jesuit and the Augustinian. Pope Francis and Jesuit spirituality. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope in history, was a member of the Society of Jesus, founded in the 16th century by Saint Ignatius of Loyola. His spirituality is based on pillars such as radical obedience, spiritual discernment, mission, and constant attention to the concrete reality of the world. The Jesuit is a person who goes forth, with a demanding formation, educated in critical thinking but also in obedience. He is called to seek God in all things. Francis fully embodied this spirit. His pontificate was marked by a strong closeness to the poor, an openness to the peripheries, not only geographical but also existential, and decisions that were often surprising, but always born of a profound missionary consciousness. For Francis, the church should be a field hospital, rather than a fortress. A church that engages with history, that gets its hands dirty, that goes out, walks, and reforms. Pope Leo XIV and Augustinian spirituality. Pope Leo XIV, his successor, represents a historic first. He is the first Augustinian pope of the modern era. His spirituality is inspired by Saint Augustine, bishop, doctor of the Church, and teacher of a deeply interior and communal vision of faith. At the heart of Augustinian spirituality is not missionary action, but rather the search for the heart. His famous phrase, "Our hearts are restless until they rest in you," expresses an inner journey of desire, return to God, listening, and depth. For Augustinians, community life is not just a practical organization, but an essential spiritual dimension, sharing time, prayer, study, and charity, in the style of the early Christians of Jerusalem. Humility, silence, meditation on the Word, and an inner freedom that is not opposed to obedience, but rather integrates it with maturity, are central features of this tradition. Two paths, one faith. The differences between the two paths are clear. The Jesuit is trained to go out, to act, to encounter the world. The Augustinian, on the other hand, is trained to inhabit, to listen, to protect. Francis presented a dynamic church, open to global issues, and oriented toward change. Leo XIV represents a more contemplative church today, attentive to the interior life, communion, and the fruitful silence of community. It's not an opposition, but rather a richness that complements one another. Two different ways of serving the same faith, two faces of a church that, in its diversity, reveals its depth. If Francis taught us the courage to go out to meet the world, Leo XIV invites us to return to the center. If one opened the doors, the other calls us to delve deeper into the heart. Two spiritualities, two times, one church that walks in history, carrying with it memory, soul, and future. If you found this journey through the spiritualities of the Jesuits and Augustinians interesting, give the video a like, tell us in the comments what you think about these two ways of living the faith, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming content on the church, spirituality, and history. Activate the bell to receive notifications of new videos. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.